Ah, chicken. Hi, welcome to iQAaCAR, the show where I test the build quality of automobiles. My name is Berger. On this channel, I'm interested in the build quality of new cars in addition to what is the build quality of older cars. Behind me is a 2009 Toyota Prius that has 93,000 miles, and it is actually my car. I would get a new one, but I had a choice between buying a house or getting a new car, and I chose the house. But according to the internet forums, a Toyota Prius, if maintained properly, is going to last anywhere from 250,000 miles to 350,000 miles. So let's first go over what is mechanically wrong with this car. And that is nothing. It's a Toyota. It's extremely reliable. I've never done anything besides top off the fluids, change the oil, change the brakes, change the headlamps or the taillights, and that's been pretty simple. However, the 2009 model has a flaw to where if you drive a lot of heavy cargo in the car, which I do, that the struts fail after 60,000 miles. So this car was essentially like a skateboard. If you had like pressed down on the side of the car, there'd be it wouldn't move up and down. The good news is that the OEM struts from Toyota were only about $300, but to get the struts installed, that was about $1,100 because of how much trim needs to be removed from the trunk in order to access the bolts that hold the struts. The front struts were pretty much cake. I've owned Japanese cars pretty much all my life, aside from a BMW. And one thing that I notice about Japanese cars is their reliability is absolutely superb on a mechanical level. However, for the interior level and interior features, those things tend to go. This is my elbow rest where I rest my elbow. And as you can see, that only after 93,000 miles, the elbow rest has given way. I definitely don't have sharp elbows, at least I don't like to think, but yet this has failed, and I expected higher quality from Toyota. I have my tow hitch placed on the front bumper. Now the tow hitch is not there because I had any issues with the car mechanically. The tow hitch is actually here for when I would strap my kayak on the top of the car. This would be one of the points where I put one of the ratchet straps. So I've owned this car for a long time, and I don't know what it is about it, but it gets rear-ended a lot. I got rear-ended a total of about 5 times. 3 of them was on the Carfax, but 2 of them were settled outside of insurance. One of the taillights is a little bit shattered, but that's okay. I don't want to replace the entire light cover just for that small little crack. So this steering wheel right here, I wanted to show the stitching pattern versus other cars I reviewed. And as you can see, there is no stitching pattern because it is just one piece of plastic. So I never wash my car. I live in Florida. It rains often enough here too where the washing does it for me. However, out of all the Toyotas that I owned, I noticed that the lubricant that is used in the handles tends to drip down over time when it rains. It's like this on all door handles. Here's the other side of the door. As you can see, it has the same lubricant drip that's going down below the handle. The door handles on this car also jiggle up and down. So I want to discuss what this car smells like. It smells like several things. The first one is ocean water. I live in Florida, so I go to the water and the beaches a lot. You're just wet. It lingers in the seats. Next is the car smells like dead fish. I live in Florida. I have a lot of fishing trips. Sometimes messes happen. The next smell is of hay and straw. I have farm animals, so I have to get hay and straw for them from time to time. And finally, the car also smells like mold. Hurricane Ian recently happened. I had my car parked outside, and the car got leaked into, and now the seats smell like mold. Normally, this Prius would not get leaked into, but I have a third-party cheap roof rack. And the reason that the car leaks water when it rains is because that my roof rack is being held by a ratchet strap, and this ratchet strap kind of compromises the seals. I would like to remove the roof rack when I'm not using it, but however, I use it so often that it's kind of a trade-off. Just coming back from the Tractor Supply. The one thing that this car does not smell like is cigarettes. Another issue with this car is the trunk release handle, which is located right under the Toyota emblem. So this entire plastic piece over here is attached to the door release handle, just comes off sometimes. I've had this replaced twice on this car. The back seat of this car is really good. I have the driver's seat position in a way that I would be driving it, and yet I still have about 4 inches before my knees touch the front seat. A reminder of a person that's 6'1". The back window of this car does not roll down all the way. As you can see, there's still a slither left that's popping out. It is a Toyota. It's not a luxury car, so I don't expect it to go down all the way. So here's an interesting bug. If I put the car into reverse, the rear view camera turns on. However, if I touch any of the side menu buttons, the rear view camera goes away, and I cannot activate it again until I put the car into drive and then back into reverse. That's when the rear view camera will return. Another bug that I found is that if you turn on the car and then go to GPS settings and navigate to, say, a destination that you want of some sort, route, add route, point of interest name, start inputting the name, like say McDonald's. That you get returned to the home screen once the Bluetooth fails to connect. So another thing that's wrong with this car is the tire pressure sensors, and they went out after 90,000 miles. This is the cup holders of the car. They're pretty simple. They just open up, one in the front, one on the back, so for 2 cups. However, there's a pretty nifty little compartment at the bottom of the cup holder, and that is where I keep my gun, because in Florida I'm allowed to. I have the 2 original key fobs from the manufacturer over here. One of them completely stopped unlocking and locking the car. It will still turn on the car. And then the other one still works, but look at the quality and the shape that it is in. All right, for this next test, we're gonna see how well a key fob on a car that's over a decade old works. So the range on this key fob is absolutely garbage. It's maybe like 20 feet at most. But this roof rack is awesome. It is essentially like having a minor flatbed on top of your car. It has its flaws, of course, though. So there's 3 different types of roof racks. The first one is a Thule roof rack. They actually clip on to right here, but again, they were the most expensive. The middle option was a roof rack to where you have to drill holes into the top of your roof, and I'm not going to be drilling holes into my car. That just seems completely unnecessary. And then the final one was getting a roof rack that is attached with ratchet straps. So this ratchet strap, as you can see, it is right in front of my forehead. So if there was a major accident, I would definitely get my head pulled back. So I have removed the ratchet straps from the inside of my car. I'm going to take off the roof rack, and I'm going to show you the damage that the ratchet strap roof rack caused to my roof. So this is me after removing the roof rack on my car, and as you can see, there is definitely indents of where the roof rack was. So here is just a marking that's simple, but here is a straight up dent to the roof of the car. So in the United States of America, we have 3 types of gasoline. There is 10% ethanol, there is E85, which is more ethanol, and then there's ethanol free, which is mainly used by boats. Because I live in Florida, ethanol free gasoline is almost at every single gas station because there's so many boatists around, and I only put that into my car. The reason being is, yes, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's better for the seals, it's better for the hoses and all the rubber and stuff like that. So this is the radio antenna that I attached to my walkie-talkies, which I was talking about. It's really useful. It does have to run in through the side of the car, and it just goes straight through the seal, just like the roof rack. So for this next test, I'm curious is how good the air conditioning and heater system is on a car that's over a decade old. I'm going to start off by turning on the air conditioning for 10 minutes and seeing how cold it is according to thermometers. I'm going to do the same test with the heater. So I've set the thermometers on every headrest of this car, in the front and the back. You can see it is currently reading at 88 degrees. So let's turn on the air conditioning and see how cold we can get it in here. And I'm going to set it to maximum coldness, which is, according to this, below 65 or 65. Air conditioning is running, the thermometers are in, closing the car door now and setting a timer for 10 minutes. So it has been approximately 10 minutes. Let's see how cool it has gotten into the car with maximum AC on. Checking the temperature on the inside of the car. It is 76 in the front. It is 79 in the passenger seat. 78 in the rear seat, and then 75 in the passenger rear seat. So air conditioning on this car is pretty poo-poo. Let's see how hot it gets in here. Changing it from low to max heat. Max heat is 85 degrees. We will wait 10 minutes for the heat to run, and we'll compare the temperatures. So it has been 10 minutes with the heater on at full blast. Let's see what the temperature reads inside the car. Ooh, it's hot. 111 degrees. 111 degrees. The tape even melted off. In the back seat, 109 degrees. 103 degrees with a full heat on. That is pretty hot. The trunk cover. So this usually pulls out and it snaps into place on the right side and the left side. However, the left side hook keeps on falling off and unscrewing. And I've reattached it maybe half a dozen times, and it's just getting to the point to where I can no longer reattach it, and it just doesn't work. It's kind of frustrating for such a simple thing, and yet it's broken. Well, thank you for watching another episode of iQAaCAR, the show where I test the build quality of automobiles. I hope you enjoyed learning this useless information.